Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day or night you're listening to or watching this, I wish you the best of it. I'm Grant Lamontagne from Multitool.org, and this is EDC-TV. As usual tonight, I've got a couple of guest hosts that are going to try and keep things interesting for us. I got Abe from Diving Sparrow Knife Works, who is also the field editor for, Blade Magazine, I think it is. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Good. How are you?
Well, you think I'd done this enough by now that I would have it all down pat, but where's the fun in that?
None at all. None at all.
Also with us tonight is Inky, our online knife trader extraordinaire. How are you tonight, Inky?
Extraordinary. And you?
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So
Inky,
tonight...
Inky,
Sorry,
how long's your beard? Before we go any further, I've got to ask. If he's extraordinary, then tonight's the night to ask exactly how long that beard is, Inky. How long? You don't got to
I think I did one full one at about 10 inches last time I checked, one hair.
Sorry, Grant, I just had to know. Curiosity killed the cat.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Not all those hairs, some are 9.38.
So, tonight's topic, since we have one, is going to be EDC in the media. So we're going to talk about knife shows like Forged in Fire. We're going to talk about some other online personalities. We're going to talk about knives and flashlights and cool things that you've seen in movies and TV shows and things like that. But before we get to that, Abe, I would like to get an update on that G-Shock. How are you doing with that?
I'm really liking it. It's a good watch. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that I find is because it's so large, I will take it off when I shoot competitively, because you got to manipulate your front wrist to hold the forearm of the gun, and I just find it a lot more comfortable to not have to deal with the mass.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, if you're getting to the competitive level, any little change like that can definitely throw off your game.
Otherwise, I love it. I love it so much, like we talked about last time. I won't take it on my job when I know it's a really dirty area. I won't subject it to bacteria warfare.
That's good to know. So, Inky, you got anything new and exciting this week? Anything we should know about?
And this is kind of cool. It's made by Best Tech. Actually, Best Tech Men, which it might be the cheaper version of Best Tech. I don't know. It's a white frame lock, white button lock.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's looking...
I like white.
I like that. I like that design. That's kind of reminds me of my ProLight blade, that's swooping.
Yeah. It's got a nice curve to that edge.
Yeah, it's a good all-arounder. It's got a good button lock.
That's nice. Who did you say made that one again?
What's that?
Who did you say made that one again?
Best Tech. Actually, Best Tech Men. I don't know if there's different or not.
Abe's already searching out the website to add to cart.
Yeah, you know what pissed me off is the other two knives you got the other week, they don't have those in stock anymore. You're not allowed.
Go to Atlantic.
Frickin' buy anything that I can't just, verify the price on and some of the materials on it. That's all I need to. That's why I go to these sites, is I'm just verifying your information.
Go to Chicago Knife Works and get them. They're cheap. It's nice. Black blade, white handle. All black hardware. It's a button lock. As the kids today would call it, it's very droppy shutty. It's very fidgety.
What's the steel? What's the handle material?
It is. You know what? It's either 9 CR or D2. I don't remember. It's white G10. I don't like the thumb opener part so much because I have big thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
I know the kids would love to middle flick this thing. I can get it.
Pretty small.
The buttons are great on this. The only thing I don't like about the buttons it reminds me of when my switchblades used to break, and I used to just use them as button locks for a while if I couldn't fix them. But now they're becoming popular things. So 3.5-inch blade. Nice, not too heavy. Maybe about 4 ounces. Well, they're locks, they're fidgety. That's what people are buying today, fidgets, not knives.
Yeah, I suppose that's true too.
But I use it as a knife. Well, I haven't used it yet because I've been being a doctor all week using a scalpel.
I hear you got something new this week, Abe, talking about how good looking you are. Do you want to share that with us?
Oh, yes, I've got my mug. You can read that backwards.
It's actually forward.
So, is it? Okay. See, in my camera, it's showing it backwards.
Yeah.
But because I'm Middle Eastern and we read, I'm Middle Eastern descent, we read from right to left. I can usually read everything. So
Did you get
Cool.
anything else of interest this week, Abe?
I found some stuff that I'd gotten before and didn't remember where I put it. So I don't have it handy with me. I don't have it
This is
handy
about
with
where
me.
it was again.
But I accidentally, because I knew we were doing, what's our topic again? Stuff that's in the media. So I knew we were doing that, and I didn't have any of that handy because it's one of these days I'm going to go through my collection properly and sort stuff out once we get a topic. So
Huh. I got some AD 20.5s.
And what is that, Inky?
They're from Demko. He had a sale the 12 days of Christmas, so I hit him for 3 of them throughout the sale.
Okay. And
Who?
so what is that?
So, a knife. It's a, let me pull one out here, I think. I bought 1 carbon fiber, 1 G10, 1 regular, which is, anyway, did I show this to you last week? This is a gray.
well, that's
I don't
nice looking
remember
knife.
that one.
It's, it has that, Demko is? He has that lock. Famous for this lock.
Okay.
A lock on.
Can't say I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, wow.
Didn't he? Who did he do? Is that the guy who is?
Cold Steel makes his knives.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's he was. Is he from South America?
I don't know.
There was a guy when I was designing for CRKT. He basically took the flipper design and he made the flipper part mechanical. So to open it up, you had to lift up the flipper, and that gave you a little levering space. So I'm just wondering whether I can't find your knife on the Best Tech site.
Anyway, it's Andrew Demko. This is called the Demko lock. There's a knife from him. This is his production knife. He makes custom knives. He's probably one of the most well-known knife makers right now. This past or
Wow.
whatever. This is not Zytel, something a little bit better. And the other one is carbon fiber, black, and one's black G10. But these locks are just amazing.
Oh,
Should I
cool.
get that lock? Look, it's very
Nice.
cool. It's all on the back here.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You got a
I'll
thumb
check those
stud
out,
and
too.
a holy moly. That's it. I got 3 of these things over here. But
Nice.
I'm not going to pull the other ones out.
So that first knife, was that an angry owl?
Can't talk to me like that. That's a 20.5. It's called a shark lock. It's a 20.5. The original ones there's only 3 1/4-inch blades. The other ones, which are custom, those would come the 2.0s or whatever. And they're always a 3.5-inch blade or more. But his production models are the 20.5. They're not too expensive, and they were on sale for like half price. I was thinking of flipping them or whatever, so I just grabbed them. Either way, I got to get my money back because, sometimes you just want to see things.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I mean? I do that a lot. I just want to see things, and then I just pass them back on. Sometimes I sell them.
I have a
Sometimes
bad
I
habit of
trade
getting them so I can see what they're like and then just keep them forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
So that Best Tech you had, can I see it one more time just to take a good look at it? Because I think it was the it's got a cool name. It's called the Angry Owl. Is that what that was?
Let me see. Let me give you the exact name.
Because it looks like the Angry
Take
Owl and D.
Take the model number. It's a Firebird. It's D2. It's a Firebird. But take the model number and look it up like that. I think you might do better.
Model
Does
number
that
is
work
what?
for you?
Yeah, what's the model number?
It's BMK, like Bark, Mark, Kark, 0.
Okay.
So BMK 05 Edward.
Okay, because they got another really good looking one called the Angry Owl. Yeah. BMK 05 Edward.
Yeah, E.
Yeah. No, I get the Edward part. I got a cousin who's named Edward, Eddie. Okay, yeah. So, okay, no, yeah, okay, I've got it. So it's a G10, and they only got like a handle to it now.
Firebird, slightly over. First one that pops up is this one.
It's on sale for $71.99 now, everybody. Just saying.
This
You
one
looking
here is
at House of Knives
$45.90.
there, Abe?
I got mine for like 30.
Yeah, House of Knives, $71.99.
Yeah.
I got mine
So-
for about 30.
Yeah, well, that, $71 Canadian is like about $30 US.
Not really, no.
No, it's a 40% exchange rate now.
Yeah, I think I had a credit too. I think it was on sale for like between 35 and 40, and I had a credit because when you join the website for points. I think I got it from Blade HQ, maybe. I'm pretty sure it's Blade HQ.
It's a good looking knife. I mean, so was that Angry Owl. It was Angry Owl had less curve to the blade. That's why, but it was really close in appearance as far as the
Angry
blade
Owl.
goes. I like the handle on yours better than the Angry Owl.
So, Best Techman, if you want to sponsor this podcast, send us a message at EDC-TV at multitool.org.
Or
I
just
like
send
the
me
Angry
a
Owl.
discount code Best Techman, because I'm going to go broke at this rate.
Somebody help me.
So, speaking of things that we need to sell Abe, I've been joking the last few weeks about getting a new flashlight that he's going to have to buy. And this is it. It is the Loop Dot from Loop Gear. And its special claim to fame is that it has this LED screen on the front. And, it's simple enough to use in that, unlike the Wuben, you can actually just press the button and light comes out. But if
Can't
you
take the Wuben thing anymore.
What was that?
I can't take the name Wuben. I have a brother, his name is Wuben. Like, why do they call it Wuben?
Like this,
I had a Wuben sandwich today.
it has all these different modes that you can, access. And it's got some games and some other weird stuff to it. And honestly, it's more expensive than the similarly sized, what is this? This is the Olight O-Clip Ultra.
That's a mouthful.
But it doesn't have the magnet. It doesn't have the clip. And it's to switch modes and things like that. It's a lot more difficult. So to be honest, if you're thinking about the Loop Dot, go get yourself an O-Clip. God help you, maybe get a Wuben, but I don't know if I can go that far. So that's something that we've been tormenting Abe that he should buy. And honestly, I say don't bother. But then again, I told Abe not to bother with the Wuben, and of course the first thing he did was went out and bought it to see if it was really as bad as I said it was.
No, I think I had the Wuben on order. You got yours first because they had a sale for $20 on the Wuben LEDs at $20. I think that's why I jumped on it.
Do you really want me to go back and check the tapes?
Maybe check the tape. I remember I had that in my wish list for a while there. I'm pretty sure I had it for a while because there was two Wubens that I had. They have that one with the big, it's like the bigger version of the ArcLight. That's expensive. That's really weird to go from a $20 priced light all the way up to like, I think that's almost like $100. That other one, it was at least. Of course,
cool.
Amazon's pretty cool at letting you know when the price. I couldn't believe it. They send me a notification on another LED I was looking at. The price has changed 1 cent. It went from something like 90 cents, like say like $81.90 to $81.91. And Amazon felt the imperative to let me know that the price has been hiked on that item in my wish list.
So, as a reminder, we have a topic tonight.
Yes.
Which I'm sure will come as a shock to all of us. And this is actually a great segue because we were just talking about things in the media, and tonight we are going to be talking about EDC in the media. Some cool stuff, some of the more obvious ones you might know about, and maybe some weirder stuff you might not know about. For those of us who are interested, we have a forum at forum.multitool.org called Multimedia, where it's basically... well, it's exactly what it sounds like, except it's not multimedia. It is anytime you see a multi-tool in the media, you record it there. Most recently, Future Man. It's on Netflix. It's sort of a weird sci-fi. People of our generation will remember a movie called The Last Starfighter, where kids playing a video game, and it turns out it's a training simulator for people in the future, and they come and they get them. And it is the same storyline here, somewhat funnier than The Last Starfighter. But in one episode, it was a Leatherman core. And season 1, episode 8 of the show, the guy gets high-tech bolos wrapped around his legs, and to get away, he steals a cop's Leatherman core and cuts the The cable. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of classics out there. I mean, who can forget MacGyver, right?
Yeah, no, I can forget MacGyver. I really didn't. I think the only episode I ever saw of MacGyver is when he used his Swiss Army knife to grind down the magnesium frame on a bike and make a thermite torch to cut the guy out of the armored truck.
Even
Yeah,
the new MacGyver
I
uses Swiss Army knives.
I tried it, but you'd be surprised that usually people just don't sit still while you're cutting your way through an armored car. A lot of phone calls go in, cops show up. It's just not really easy.
There's an episode of Mythbusters, at least one, there might have been two, where they actually tackled some of the MacGyver myths, you know, to see if some of the things he did would actually work. And as I recall, I think it was about a 50-50 split, according to the Mythbusters.
Really? Yeah, I remember, well, we're going to maybe get off a little topic here, but okay, wait a minute. Adam Savage, he carries a Leatherman. So we're still on topic. But I remember, do you remember when basically Mythbusters used to be like the Bible? If you had an argument with somebody, you'd go, well, they tried that on Mythbusters and it failed. And it was.
Are you kidding me? I've based most of my life around that. I love the Mythbusters.
Yeah, but you know what? They were wrong a couple of times.
The Busters got busted.
They were on for 14 years testing all kinds of things. Even I have some issues with some of the methodologies they've used, but
Yeah.
two of the build team members, Carrie Byron and Tori Bellacci, have their own podcast right now called Mythfits. They just started a little bit before us, actually. It's actually a really cool show. They talk about a lot of the stuff they did behind the scenes, and I think the latest episode they're talking about when they were doing the movie Wanted, and they were like, yeah, we were just like swinging the gun around and just randomly firing, trying to get the bullet to curve. And I can't believe they did that. We were just at some rancher's house, and he's like, yeah, go ahead and do what you want, but you know, if you see a cow wandering around, just sort of chase it off so you don't accidentally shoot it.
Yeah. So they've got their own podcast.
Yeah, it's called Mythfits. It's actually really good. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. You really should check out the Mythfits podcast. It's actually really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. They talk about some of the accidents they've had and the things leading up to it, and yeah, they have some of the other cast members that you know that didn't stick around. But it's really actually interesting because I talking to the Leatherman marketing manager years ago. This is several marketing managers ago. She told us a story about how the Mythbusters had sort of an open set that literally anybody could go down to M5 Industries and watch what was going on. And you said Adam Savage carried, what was it you said, a Leatherman Wave or something?
Oh, it's a Leatherman. I don't remember the model. I remember he
I think he
invented his
also
own
carried
sheath
a
bar.
Wuben.
The reason why they carried Leathermans on that show is because somebody from Leatherman decided one day to load up a box full of Leatherman tools and fly out to California to watch an episode, and they just left this box of tools behind on site. And of course, the Mythbusters found them and started using them. And it's funny because they actually told the other side of that story on the Mythfits podcast that, you know, people from Leatherman showed up and just gave them a bunch of tools one day. But the funniest part about that is Jamie Heineman, the one with the big walrus mustache there.
Yeah.
Apparently he liked the Leatherman sheath, but he preferred the Victorinox, what was it? It was the Spirit, one of the Spirit models. And so he carried his Victorinox Spirit in a Leatherman sheath on the show.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There's some of the I've got a sheath around here. Gerber made a couple of sheaths that I found to be better than the Leatherman sheaths, and I've carried my Leatherman in that. What was I thinking of? It was So Savage did a skeleton framed sheath. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. So it's a friction fit. And now if you look, after he's done that sheath on his show, you can actually buy knockoffs of that, like some pretty good knockoffs of that on Amazon. There's one guy even made one. I wanted to get this one just for experiment purposes, not because I'm addicted to buying sheaths, but it's got the bit holder case on the side and I think the ratchet holder on the other side, and it works. So what they are, I wish I had one to show you. They're, for guys that don't know this, so picture a rigid sheath with the center missing from it. And so what you would do to get your Leatherman out of there, instead of grabbing it from the top and pulling up, you would put your finger on the Leatherman at the bottom of the sheath and then drag your finger up the opening, and then that would bring it out, right? Bring it out to you. So somebody took it a step further and they put a bit holder on what would be, if you were right-handed, I believe your front side, which would be the right side of the sheath, or the left side of the sheath. And on the back, I think, not bit hole, yeah, the flat bit holder. And then they put the ratchet or bit extension on the other side. I wish I knew who made them. I forget right now. I could look it up, but I thought that was rather clever. I thought, to add it to improve his idea. I don't know. I have no idea whether Adam Savage patented that or anything like that, but he made one out of aluminum or tin on the one show just to show people how he made it.
I think that was on his podcast, which is tested.com, available on YouTube.
Yeah. It was interesting, but yeah, so anyways, that's one place we've seen Leatherman tools.
I used to go to Blockbuster every Friday night, and I would wander around in the horror section just to count how many times the old buck knives showed up on the covers of horror movies. And I would say it was probably 1 out of every 4 or 5 box covers had the old buck with the phenolic handle and the silver pommel. And I'm guessing it's because it must have looked great on camera. I mean, it was a pretty distinctive knife, especially if you're hunting teenagers on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember seeing that. I can't name a lot of them right now, but I've seen that in a ton of horror movies. It seems to be I think it's even been in Jason, right? I think
Could be.
Yeah, it's a popular, I don't know. And the weird thing is, as far as knives go, that doesn't look scary at all to me. Oh, well, it'd be scary if it was coming at you, no matter what. You could, yeah. Or stuck through the bathroom stall door into their head.
You think about the cinematic effect, the fact that it's got the polished nickel brass and guard and the stainless blade. I mean, you got a dark horror movie and everybody's dressed in black, that it's obvious that they've been stabbed. You can see the knife, it shows up really well on camera, I think.
Yeah, if you're going to be a mass murderer, pick something that record videos well or photographs well. If you're going to stab people with it, that's important. It's always got to look good.
That is the important part about mass murder that nobody talks about. You really need to work on your branding.
Yeah. See, I mean, that hockey mask, I mean, they don't even sell those hockey masks anymore. So where's the merchandising in that? Jason sometimes fell a little short.
Well, what do you want nowadays? A custom painted goalie helmet with a murder scene airbrushed on the side?
Yeah, I think they missed out.
Okay, so you've just risen from the dead, walked out of the lake. It's Halloween. It's your night to do it. What do you think, Abe? What's your choice for murdering a bunch of annoying teenagers?
I follow the rule of any knife collector. You don't want to ever hurt somebody with a knife that you really like and cost you a lot, because they take that into evidence. So I have to go with the Freddy Krueger. I think personally, not Freddy Krueger, Jason was killing those kids originally with a in coma machete. No, you're thinking Michael Myers with the kitchen knife. Yeah, I think if I look at that, that's an in coma machete, which are a really good, respectable machete. So if you do go after a whole bunch of kids in a horror movie, you'll clean it up a hell of a lot better, because Jason was a slob. Yeah, no, my God, he was appalling. Sometimes there would be tears in my eyes just looking at the rust on them. Yeah, what's your choice, Trace Grant? I got a feeling you're going to be a hell of a lot more reasonable than us.
Oh, no. My choice is as unreasonable as they get. I think I would go with an Extrema ratio knife, because they have a blood groove to control the spray of blood when you stab somebody through communist block body armor. And it is also very resistant to solvents found in aircraft fuels. So, if they're hiding in an airplane and you have to stab through the fuel tank to get at them, it's nice to know that Extrema Ratio has your back and will withstand all of that.
There you go.
Plus, he's got that blood groove for controlling the blood spray. Oh my God. For those who don't know, this was actually in their catalogs. This was their marketing campaign. But yeah, you had the blood groove, which, to most of us is known as a fuller, but to them it's a blood groove for controlling the spray, so you don't get it all over you. So Extrema Ratio for sponsorship opportunities, contact us.
In Canada, Canadian Tire, there's a knife that's made by a company called Huntsfield, and it's like the lower end brand. Like the whole knife only costs like $39, and it's basically a weak knockoff of the Cattaraugus Quartermaster. So in World War II, they made a knife called the quartermaster, very heavy blade, huge pummel on it to act like a hammer. And that was used to pry open for the quartermasters. They would pry open crates with it, pound them back closed and stuff like that. And the reason why I bring it up is we're talking about knives in the media. So I see this Huntsfield style knife. I can't guarantee it's a Huntsfield knife, but it's got that quartermaster look. And it's on some guy that's got his own like survival show, at least a social media one. But I think it's actually, from the looks of it, the quality of filming, I think it's realistic. And I made a comment one time. I said you need a better knife for wilderness survival because they got a double guard on them. That's a fighting knife. It's hard to explain as somebody who makes bushcraft knives, have reviewed literally hundreds of them and used to sell Moras all the time. Double guards are if you see them on a Mora, that's usually the Boy Scout versions because they wanted to be extra safe for the kids. But you don't do bushcrafting if you can't choke up around the handle and get what is called a pinch hold or a pinch finger extended hold, which is a talon hold, right? So you actually pinch the blade between your thumb and FU finger, and then you put your index finger out in the front, and that gives you detailing work. And then if you just want to get up on the blade to do small detail work, you just pinch it between your index finger and your thumb. Can't do that easy with a guard in the way because you can't choke up, it gets in the way. If I had one, I'd show you. So I made a comment on this guy's video. I said, you kind of got the wrong knife for bushcraft. You would not believe how many of his fanboys came after me like, he's an expert, he trains the Marines, he should know better. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know better. He has 23 years of writing. I'll tell you, he doesn't know better. But either way, that's not the point. I'm not here to criticize the guy. I'm just here to say that knife was on there. That's a knife I found in media.
So, as I understand it, Abe, you have intimate knowledge of a few of the people in the media who have used knives, say on a particular show where people might be a little unclothed and frightened. What do you want to tell us about that?
Probably at the height of my knife making, before things got kind of crazy and the market got flooded, I had about 5 knives that made it on Naked and Afraid. And I got word from them afterwards about their performance and how that out of all the custom knives that showed up on the show, they outperformed most of them. And I'm not going to mention anybody because I don't want to just sound like I'm telling any lies. They had a problem. There's also a problem, just to let everybody know. Everybody figures these guys get on the show and they can do anything. They signed contracts. They weren't allowed to endorse any of my cutlery because if they endorse it, the Discovery Channel would take it as they were making money off it, and they had to share. They had to disclose how much money they were making off of it. What a lot of people don't know. So I had about 5 knives. I'm pretty sure it was about 5 knives on Naked and Afraid. I had 1 knife on Surviving Wild Alaska. I had about 4 knives that guys on, it was a show called Dude, You're Screwed. It was a unusual survival show. They would kidnap one guy and leave him in the middle of the woods, but they would never leave anything good with him like a knife.
I remember that show.
Yeah, the one time they left a big stuffed giant teddy bear with the guy.
I remember that episode, yeah.
It was pretty rough. I had he's passed away. He was a good friend of mine. When he got selected for the show, he turned to me, he says, I need a knife to get me through this. And that was Dave McIntyre, season 2 winner of Alone. He carried the knife that my Woodsman. And then later on, he asked for a special version made for himself because at some point in time, he was breaking open crab shells, and he realized that what's called the Sparrow's Crown from the back of my Northern Bushcraft survival knife, he wanted on the Woodsman. I had 4 knives for a guy on Discovery Channel Australia. And that's where I learned something really interesting about the industry. Not that they use my knives. It was that you don't think about this. Their camera crews around the world for Discovery Channel are very few that will go into the woods. Literally, you might get an international camera crew because you can't find somebody to spend 40 days in the woods with a camera setup. And so they were spread thin. And they called me. They wanted 4 knives identical, two identical to each other, 2 and 2, for this new guy that was coming up in Discovery Channel Australia. And they said, can you get them done in 2 weeks and ship them to? And I thought it really odd because they were in Thailand, I think, at the time. And they said, we need you to get them to Toronto. And I'm like, how are you going to get them from Toronto? And that's how I found out. One of the people on the crew was coming from Toronto, which was the reason why they asked me for the knives because most of those camera crew guys had served on a lot of these different TV shows. And when they got asked about knives that this guy should have, because this guy actually knew Laura Zara and he had been using a knife with Laura Zara. So anyways, the crew came back and said, every time anybody's had a diving sparrow knife on our show, it's been excellent. So they recommended that. And that was quite the kudos. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I was quite humbled by that. I was really humbled by that.
So what you should do, since you can't do any cross-branding with some of these shows to upset Discovery brands there, maybe you should just do an as seen on TV line of diving sparrow knives. What do you think?
I never really thought about that before. I've always depended just on word of mouth. Another, not just to go off, but a guy from Discovery Channel Brazil found out about me through the Discovery Channel, and he ordered a knife. It was word of mouth. I've never really advertised it, but I'm not saying you're wrong. You're better at marketing than I am.
Is that a hint? You want me to help you set that up?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I really never thought of that before. I've seen on TV because you really aren't allowed to. Like, I'll tell you a personal experience with Cody Lundin, and we're talking about knives and media. He tended to use the red handle Mora a lot, the wooden one. And at one point in time, Tops came out with their own knockoff of that Mora, and they had sent it to Cody Lundin. And when I was interviewing Mike Fuller, the owner of Tops at the time, I don't know if he still owns it, because I haven't seen him in ages. When I was interviewing him, he had mentioned Cody Lundin. There was some confusion on Cody Lundin's, I might be saying his last name wrong, role in developing the knife. And so, because it's a SHOT Show, there's a lot of people coming in going, hey, Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you, even though it's really rude. And I know you're talking with this guy who's got a pad out and obviously hanging on every word you got, but I'm just going to stick my face in here and go, I really like you. And so there's a lot of that shit going on. So when I published that he had some kind of involvement with the knife, he got a hold of me. He called the magazine up, found out my number. They gave him my number. He called me up and said, dude, screw you. You're going to get me in shit here. And that's how I found out that they get a percentage of the sales. He says, if anybody thinks that I've got anything to do with that knife, Discovery Channel is going to come after me for cash. And so he made me print a retraction. And unfortunately, it was my mistake. Misheard Mr. Fuller. But there's another knife in the media. That Mora, I think that Mora's been on a ton of shows.
So Cody Lundin, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the giant barefooted hippie that was on Dual Survival for the first couple of seasons?
Yes, with the braids. The braids.
Yeah, I actually like him.
Yeah, no, he's a nice guy. He's very scientific. If you looked at him, I like his style of teaching, his light style instruction. He just wouldn't say, oh, you need to do this. He would tell you the science behind why that worked. By the way, because I know this is so weird, because Grant told me about this topic. I said, I really don't know any knives that show up in media. And then now all of a sudden I'm remembering a whole bunch. So one of my most favorite YouTube creators, Kentucky Ballistics, uses a Microtech switchblade. And that's impressive because he actually uses it. He actually cuts the crap out of shit with it. And you don't see too many Microtech guys actually using those.
Well, they're a fancy collectible for a lot of guys. Yeah, whenever somebody uses a knife in a movie, Megan's like, which one's that? Which one's that? And, if I can't answer immediately, she just makes fun of me for, owning a website like I do and not knowing exactly what every knife is.
Well, Platoon. Do you remember Platoon? The scene where Charlie Sheen attacks Tom Berenger because he's killed Elias, which is William Dafoe, right? Dafoe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. What he cuts Charlie Sheen with is a cold steel punch dagger. I think those are the Peacemakers, aren't they?
Was that the Peacemaker? Peacekeeper, yeah. I think, yeah.
Peacekeeper, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Getting back to the Spyderco that I think he was talking about that the police are all using, it showed up in the movie once, but I don't think they actually mentioned it. Hannibal Lecter, and I don't remember which movie it was, I think it was the prequel one, was using a Spyderco matriarch.
Oh.
And I remember I read the book of that before I saw the movie, and I remember he was specifically looking for a Spyderco matriarch, which I thought was really cool because it wasn't just, the cameraman just happens to have that and the props department fell down, so we just, take whatever they have and use it, right? Apparently, Hannibal Lecter in the book specifically wanted a Spyderco matriarch, which, yeah. So there you go. I guess we need to amend our earlier comments about which knives we would use. I mean, here we have a bona fide serial killer who specifically recommends the Spyderco Matriarch.
Yeah. Well, let's keep in mind that serial killers have their own style. So that doesn't mean, that's how they profile them. They're like, oh, this is a classy one. He uses Spyderco. Oh, he used a Japanese steak knife. He's not that classy.
I think that was the Matriarch, and I think he liked that because of that really long hawksbill blade on it. That really extended extra little bit of blade sticking off the front. That would be really good for making precise cuts, I would think.
So yeah, it's Chianti. Yeah, that's
So now the only question is, what kind of fork did he use for his fava beans?
well, but this is EDC-TV, dining with Grant.
This is our version of Gordon Ramsay. We're talking about
a new version of Hell's Kitchen. Okay, so now you got me thinking. There was a scene in the second Hannibal Lecter where they sent a guy to the country Hannibal was living in, and his job was to pretend to try and pickpocket him and hope that Hannibal would grab his wrist and leave a fingerprint on the bracelet. And he pulled out a knife. He cut that guy's femoral artery, which, means he was trying to get a quick lunch and it didn't work out. Then he walked away and they took the print off. So now, did anybody see the knife because now that I'm thinking about it, I never stopped to slow it down to see what that knife was.
I am actually not a big fan of those movies or those kinds of movies. Generally, if it doesn't have a superhero or a car chase or something, like, it's just not really my kind of thing. If there's nobody getting a pie to the face, I'm kind of losing interest, right?
Here's just another one really quick that I thought of. That movie, I think it was Into the Wilderness, the kid where he ran away from kind of home. He was kind of trying to disown money, and he ended up dying in Alaska in a bus.
Apparently, we all watch very different kinds of movies.
It was a real story. I think they did an article on him in Explorer or Backpack magazine, and then they did a movie about his life. He had a troublesome home with a very abusive stepfather. They had money, and he just decided to do the I feel guilty and I'm going to try and live without cash thing. So he would go work just enough to make money, and then he'd move on. Well, his goal was to go live in the wilderness in Alaska and just get away from people. And so at one point in time, he's starving to death, and they show him pull out what I believe was a buck 110 to put a new hole in his belt, because this is a leather belt that he had made with one of the people he'd met. And he was losing so much weight, he needed to cinch that belt up. And I think he used a buck 110 for that. Oh my God. I didn't really think I remember that many knives.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Well, John Wick, was that a Microtech switchblade? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that.
Freshly stoned. For dessert, cutlery, freshly stoned, sir. And they copied that scene. What kills me is they copied that scene, and I never saw the movie. I just saw the highlights on YouTube. They copied that scene for this new movie out, The Ballerina. Apparently, there's some ballerina who's all of a sudden, I don't know what the movie's about. I mean, I'm assuming
The Ballerina is a movie that takes place in the same universe as John Wick, so it's understandable that she would meet up with the same people.
Well, the guy wasn't the same sommelier or taste tester. Well, it was a different guy, but it was the same idea. She comes in for a tasting.
Yeah, there's an intercontinental hotel in every city, right? So they would all have their own sommelier.
Yeah, and the thing about John Wick's universe is like every fifth person's an assassin. That's how they could just literally have everybody stop in Central Park in New York, and it was like, oh, I didn't know there was that many hired killers out there. You must have to take a side job. If there's that many people doing killing, there would be a massive reduction in the world population for those people to be fully employed.
Well, it's what you deal with on a daily basis. I dealt with shipping accidents, and, I dealt with so many smashed open containers. I kind of wonder how anything gets anywhere, but, obviously there are thousands of containers every day that are getting to their destination without giant holes in them or having been dropped from a crane. But, those are the ones I was interested in, so.
Yeah, I saw a video on that too. It's funny. There's pirates out there that will go around looking for accidental dumpage, and they'll get in there and they'll cut the container open and throw stuff out of there. And I'm thinking, shit, I wonder if there's a container of knives out there.
Whole different type of show. I could tell you some stories, but it's actually kind of funny because nowadays, thanks to shows like Forged in Fire and whatnot, knives are becoming more mainstream. But I think the first movie I saw where it was actually the good guy using knives instead of, there were always the bad guy using the knives and the good guy stopped him with a gun, right? Think about that scene in, what was it? Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the guy comes out and he's, juggling the sword, and Harrison Ford just pulls out the gun and boom. The first time I think we ever saw a good guy using knives, and I'm talking about like actually using knives, was I think V for Vendetta.
And that was a tie. I was just thinking of that. It's weird you mentioned that. That was a cold steel taipan.
Taipans, yeah. Yeah, he had several of them in that movie because he kept throwing them away at people.
Well, I can tell you right now, because if the text messages are the nail in my coffin, because I said I'm not sure I could remember any knives in any TV shows, that once the recording's off, Grant's going to rub that in big time.
No, I'm not going to wait till the camera's off. We expected you. We fully expected you to have more than enough to talk about on this topic.
Sorry, all of a sudden, sorry guys, I was struggling really hard, and all of a sudden I started remembering stuff, and it started blurting out. I didn't even think I knew that many knives, and I told you I can recognize guns. I didn't think I knew that many knives in freaking movies and TV shows.
So what about you, Abe? Any final thoughts, any takeaways, anything you'd like the folks at home to know before we shut this down for another week?
I can't think of anything except for the fact that kind of shocked that I remembered that many. I was really, tell you the truth, I was really upset with Grant because I was like, man, I'm going to have nothing to say. I just can't remember anything. Yeah, it is kind of fun though. It's like anything else. I think if you see a knife that you own in the movies, it's kind of like a little vindication or validation, I think, too.
Okay, well, that'll do us for another week. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are out there having as much fun as we are in here. Don't forget to check us out at forum.multitool.org and have your say. Don't forget to hit that like button or whatever the heck it is on whatever platform you're listening to us on, because it really, really does help the show. So that's about it for this week, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and follow and subscribe, and if you have any comments, do it on our forum, because our forum supports the community, and the billionaires on the socials don't really give a damn about anything we do. Thank you very much, and have a great day out there.